It all began with Jarrell Big Baby Miller, a heavyweight known as much for his mouth as for his fists. Before even stepping into the ring, Miller had already tried to start a brawl. Cocky, overweight, and dripping with false confidence, he hurled insults toward Daniel Dubois, calling him names, mocking him, even ridiculing his personal life. He thought his words would break Dubois, but Dubois wasn't there to talk. He was there to let his fists deliver the sermon. From the very first bell, Dubois made it clear that he wasn't here to play. He came out swinging with sharp, thunderous jabs that landed with precision, each one hammering into Miller's defenses. The crowd could feel the tension. Miller, the self-proclaimed tough guy, began to retreat under pressure. But this rat wasn't done yet. He devoured punches like they were snacks, pretending to be unfazed while his body betrayed him. For a few brief moments, it seemed Miller had seized the initiative, pressing forward and landing some wild shots. But Dubois, patient, composed, and cold, waited for the perfect opening. Then, in an explosion of fury, he struck back with the power of pure vengeance. The audience roared as Dubois unleashed a relentless assault, his combinations sharp and merciless. Each punch echoed the humiliation Miller had tried to cause. The once cocky giant was now gasping for air, stumbling across the ring, looking desperately for salvation. And salvation came only through the referee's mercy, stepping in to end the carnage. Dubois had risen like a phoenix from the ashes, his victory not just a win, but a reckoning. The filthy rat was silenced, his arrogance shattered by the storm he provoked. Then came Ezra Oranka, another self-proclaimed tough guy who confused disrespect with confidence. Before his match with the young prodigy Ben Whitaker, Ezra strutted around like a peacock, running his mouth to anyone who'd listen. "I'm not scared of him," he boasted, puffing his chest with misplaced pride. But when the bell rang, it wasn't fear he should have worried about, it was fate. Whitaker, calm and calculated, began painting a masterpiece of destruction. He danced across the ring with precision, his punches slicing through the air like razors. Every jab, every hook was a reminder that arrogance can't stand against true skill. Ezra, refusing to learn humility, kept taunting, smiling, showboating, trying to rattle Whitaker. But Whitaker was untouchable. He slipped punches effortlessly, responding with clean counters that snapped Ezra's head back. Desperation crept in. The rat, realizing he couldn't win fairly, resorted to dirty tactics, grabbing, shoving, even throwing illegal shots. But that only awakened something fierce in Whitaker. He turned the ring into a personal hell for Ezra, landing body shots that folded him in half, breaking his spirit one punch at a time. The crowd watched as karma delivered justice in real time. When it was over, Ezra wasn't just beaten, he was erased. But if there was a crown for filth, it belonged to the Persian lion, Muhammad Habati. Cocky, ruthless, and drenched in delusion, Habati strutted into the cage like a conqueror, ready to humiliate his opponent, former UFC fighter Diego Brando. But Habati didn't realize he was standing before karma itself. From the opening moments, he swung wildly, relying on his dirty tricks and arrogance rather than skill. Brando, however, wasn't there for games. He was there for punishment. Like a hunter stalking prey, he picked Habati apart, each strike cracking through the illusion of invincibility the rat had built. The crowd could sense the end drawing near. Every punch from Brando was a verdict. Every takedown was a sentence. And when it was done, Habati was left broken, another fool who mistook arrogance for power. But perhaps no story of justice hit harder than the fall of Ruben Torres. In August 2022, Torres faced Christian Baez, a fighter who had come prepared to give it his all. The match was fierce, the kind that defines careers. But when Torres realized he was losing, he threw honor aside. With a shocking, cowardly move, he struck Baez when the fight had already been called off. The crowd gasped in disbelief. That moment of deceit became his defining scar. For a while, it seemed he had gotten away with it. But karma is patient. Months later, it returned in the form of Eduardo Estella, a relentless fighter with a warrior's heart. From the opening bell, Torres once again tried to dominate, throwing heavy hands and controlling the ring. But Estella refused to back down. With every punch, he closed the distance between revenge and redemption. Round after round, the fight became a war. Estella took Torres' best shots, shook them off, and came back with double the force. Then, as if guided by fate, he cornered the once cocky rat against the ropes. The crowd could feel it, the shift, the reckoning. Estella unleashed a brutal right hand, followed by a storm of punches that left Torres staggering, defenseless, and broken. The referee had no choice but to step in. Justice had been restored. The once proud cheater was humbled before the world, his legacy forever tarnished. And then, there was Carl Frampton versus Chris Avalos, a tale that proved once again that respect is the foundation of greatness. Avalos, fueled by arrogance, tried to humiliate Frampton even before the fight began. He talked big, laughed louder, and mocked Frampton at every opportunity. But in doing so, he lit a fire in the quiet man's soul. When the first bell rang, that fire exploded into fury. Frampton unleashed a storm of punches that left Avalos gasping for air, retreating as the humble warrior advanced like a storm. Every hit carried the weight of his restraint, every combination a reminder that true fighters don't need to talk, they simply prove. By the fifth round, Avalos was a shadow of his former self. His face bruised, his spirit crushed. He tried to fight back, but it was too late. Frampton's fist delivered the final chapter of this story, a knockout that silenced not just a man, but the arrogance that drove him. When it was over, the crowd erupted, not just for the victory, but for justice. These are not just fights. They're stories of karma written in blood and sweat. Every dirty tactic, every arrogant smirk, every insult hurled before the fight, all of it led to a single truth. No one escapes retribution. In the ring, respect isn't just earned, it's demanded. And those who forget that lesson always pay the price. So, what do you think about these moments of poetic justice? Do you believe karma always finds its way back in combat sports? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed watching the downfall of these so-called tough guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for more stories where justice hits harder than any punch.